Hello, how you doing? Gonna make some cabbage and eggs today. Sounds really simple. It is really simple and it's absolutely delicious. Let's get started on this. So in my pan, a little bit of oil. You can use any oil that you like. We're on an above medium heat. You can see I've got some garlic and some ginger there that I've cut kind of quite roughly, about a tablespoon each. A cup of onion. I'm using red onion and I've sliced that. We're going to add a little bit of salt, black pepper. I'm quite generous with my pepper. We're going to throw that around in the pan for like 2 to 3 minutes only. And then we're going to move on by adding in some cabbage, white cabbage. It's about 3 cups in total there. What I've done, as you can see, is I've cut that nice and thin. Let's mix that in and cook that down a little bit. About 4 minutes in total, I would say. As it's kind of dropped down in its volume, we're now going to add in eggs. I've got 4 eggs there. The ratio of egg to the cabbage is entirely up to you. Now, I like my eggs, well cooked. You can do it exactly how you want. So I'm going to whiz this around in the pan for maybe 3 minutes. I'm then going to add quite a lot, like a cup of green onions, spring onions or scallions, whatever you call them, so many names. I held a few back to go on the top. Just going to mix them in. Really simple and delicious. Super tasty this is. A couple of other things we're going to do to it as well. So once it's on the plate, I then put a little bit of soy on, not too much. Just a little kind of drizzle of the soy sauce on there. I'm using a light soy, by the way. And then I like to add some sesame oil. Gives it a beautiful kind of nutty flavour. And it works well at the end, not to cook it with because it burns off. That's it, super easy. Hello, how's it going? Look, today we're going to do this mushrooms with soy sauce. Really, really delicious. Now, I'm using some dried shiitake mushrooms. You can use anything you want. I've got some oil in there, a little bit of oil. I'm using the sunflower oil, and I'm dropping in 1 dried chili, about 4 star anise, and then a tablespoon of ginger and a tablespoon of garlic. The heat's on fairly high, as you can see. We're just going to whiz that around. Just let it infuse the oil there. Then I've got half a cup of onion, which I've cut really small. Slice it if you like. Now I'm going to be quite generous with some black pepper. I'm not going to be adding any salt to this because of the soy sauce we're using. That's very salty. Okay, let that go for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. So here's my mushrooms. I've got 3 cups in total and I've left them whole. Slice them if you want. Now you can do this with any type of mushroom, a fresh mushroom if you want. We're going to throw these around in the pan for maybe 4 to 5 minutes, moving it pretty much all of the time. I've got half a cup of soy. I'm using a light soy. Dark soy is a little bit more kind of syrupy, and about half a cup of water. Very simply, we're going to let that go for about another 4 minutes, stirring often. It's absolutely delicious. It's very, very simple. Just going to finish it off with a little drizzle or 2 of some sesame oil. That gives it a nice kind of nutty flavour. Job done. Once I serve this, I'm going to get it on the plate with some spring onion, green onion or scallions, whatever you call them, chopped on the top. Hi, how you doing? Not going to keep you long today. Vegetable fried rice, very beautiful. Use any veg you like, really. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. Okay, so we've got about a cup each here of celery, mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, zucchini or courgette, whatever you call them, green beans, and then here I've got about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic that I've sliced up, and here we've got 3 cups of cooked basmati rice. So in here I've got oil. I'm using the sunflower oil. I've got 2 tablespoons in there. The heat's on quite high. Just put that on. We're going to start off by dropping in the sliced garlic. I mean, you can chop it if you want, no problem. And then we're going to go straight in with our onion. And then my hardest vegetables, which are celery and my green beans or French beans. Keep it on a high heat, keep it moving for about 3 minutes. Now, of course, you can be using any selection of vegetables you want. I'm just going with these today. And then we're going to add the last vegetables. 1 cup of the bell peppers, going for yellow, mixed color if you want. The courgette, zucchini, kusa, whatever you call that. And the mushrooms. Stay on this high heat and go for another 3 minutes. Fabulous. I'm now going to add some soy sauce here. I've got a light one. I don't want a dark one in here. Light, I think, works really well. And we've got about 2 tablespoons there. I'm going to be adding some black pepper. I'm not going to add salt. You can if you want, but I find that the soy does the trick there. It's salty enough for me. Simply, we're going to go in with our rice, our basmati rice, about 3 cups. And I'm going to go for about 4 minutes or so now, frying the rice. So I hope you can hear that. That there is your rice frying. You do need to fry it. Don't just mix it in. Give it a nice fry. If you get a little bit of browning or even blackening on that rice, I find that to be beautiful. Off goes the heat. Green onions, scallions, spring onions, whatever you call them. And then a nice little drizzle of some pure sesame oil. Gives it a lovely, lovely, delicious, nutty flavor. Beautiful. Let's get that on the plate. And there you go. Super, super easy. Delicious. So I've bought some fresh noodles in a pack here. What I'm going to do is just follow the instructions on them and just cook them for a few minutes. But all noodles are quite different. Let's get moving. 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil in there in my wok, getting that nice and hot. 1 tablespoon of ginger and 1 tablespoon of garlic, sliced up beautifully, nice and hot. Spin that around. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some onion. I'm using a white onion today, 1 cup of that. We're going to cook this for about 2 to 3 minutes. That's just got a little head start on everything else. Let's take a look at our vegetables. I've got carrots, green beans, sugar snaps, and broccoli here. Half a cup each, I would imagine. The selection of vegetables obviously is entirely up to you. Let's get some salt in the mix and some black pepper. But by the way, we've still got a couple more vegetables to go here, just not adding them just yet. Stir fry this around 3 to 4 minutes. Keep it moving pretty much all of the time. Wonderful stuff. Next up, I'm going to add about a cup or just under a cup of bell peppers. Fairly chunky cut, and get them in. Give them a little spin for a minute or so. I've got about a cup or about the same again of some fresh white mushrooms. And again, let's just go for 90 seconds. Looking fabulous. Noodle time, so in go all of my noodles. There's about 6 or 7 cups of noodles in total once they're cooked. Like I say,
what you want to do is look at the packet, because there's so many different types of noodles, and just follow the instructions on, drain them off, and then off you go. We need to mix this in and mix this in and mix this in. I'm going to go for about 3 to 4 minutes now. Quarter cup of water, just a little bit of water, just to kind of help it steam out there a little bit now. A light soy sauce is going to go in now, about 2 tablespoons. And about 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. You can adjust the soy and the oyster sauce as much as you like, actually. Okay, we're going to be mixing this in and mixing this in. What I like to do sometimes is use 2 spoons to get in there and kind of toss it around. It's a bit sort of easier. About 4 minutes. Any selection of vegetables that you like, super easy and absolutely delicious. Green onions if you want, entirely up to you. Hope you enjoy that. Keep safe, keep well. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Hello, how you doing? We're going to do some ginger cabbage today. It's healthy, it's vegetarian, it's vegan, it's delicious, it's really simple. Now you can have this as a side dish, you know, even if you're having a roast dinner or something, do this to your cabbage instead of boiled, boring cabbage. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. Okay, so we've got 2 cups tomato, 2 cups carrots, 1 cup onion, over a tablespoon, like a kind of chunky piece like that, of ginger, a teaspoon of turmeric, and here I've got my white cabbage, so that's 2 cups. So what's that? Maybe 6 cups of cabbage. Let's get moving. A few other bits going to go in, but let's get started with this. So this really is quite simple. You're going to need a kind of wok-y type pan or a large skillet. In there I've got some oil. I'm using corn oil, about 3 tablespoons. You can change that if you want. I'm going to get that ginger in. You can see that I've cut that into nice sticks like that. Chop it smaller if you want. 1 cup of onion and 2 cups of carrots. You can see the carrots are fairly thin just there. We're going to go for about 4 to 5 minutes on a medium heat, stirring often. Beautiful stuff. If you wanted, you could get some garlic in here as well. I'm just going to go with ginger. Fresh tomato, 2 cups. The teaspoon of turmeric. Salt to taste. Black pepper to taste. About another 4 or so minutes. Again, stirring fairly often. Those tomatoes are just starting to break down a little bit. Now we introduce our cabbage. And once again, we're going to go for 4 to 5 minutes. And once again, stirring fairly often. We have pretty much done this. Delicious. Beautiful stuff. Now off goes the heat. Now for me, I like a nice crunch on my cabbage, is what I have there. You can cook this a little bit more if you want. You could also add a little bit, maybe like half a cup of water in there to help it on its way, to kind of steam it out. That's all good for me. One more thing. Some cilantro or coriander in the mix. Let me get that on a plate. Job done. If you want to make it a little bit more spicy, you could chop some fresh chili into that.
Hello, hope you're doing well. Look, today we're going to make some sweet and sour vegetables. It's really quite simple. Let's get started by making our little sweet and sour sauce. So, I've got some oil there. I'm using sesame oil, gives it a nice nutty flavour. And we're on a below medium heat. I'm going to drop in 1 dried red chilli and 2 or 3 whole star anise. To that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of ginger. You can see how I've cut that in strips. Chop it if you want. And then a couple of teaspoons of garlic. So let's just get that together. That'll infuse that oil. A beautiful start already. Look at that. That was just like a minute or so. Then we're going to hit this with quite a lot of black pepper. I love black pepper in this. We're not going to be adding any salt to this just yet. So here we go. I've got a cup of vinegar, white vinegar. I'm actually using a cane vinegar, but you could change that to something else, no problem. And again, stay on this just below medium heat, not too high. I've got about 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup. Now, I'm not adding any soy sauce to this, but you can if you want. And then I'm going to hit it with some honey. Again, maybe a tablespoon or so. So just let that go and stir, 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 just for like 2 minutes. Fabulous stuff. Okay, we've done it. That is it. A really delicious, simple, sweet and sour sauce. So we can move on now. Now you can use any selection of vegetables that you want. I'll show you what I'm using here. So above medium heat in my pan, a little bit of oil. Again, you can choose what you want. Half a cup of onion. And about half a cup there of carrots. Cut them nice and thin. And I've got some French beans here. So you want to get in your hardest vegetables first, you know what I mean? So if you're using celery, for example, get that in now. Black pepper again, and some garlic that I've added. If you wanted, you could put some more ginger in here. A little bit of salt into the vegetables. And then we're going to stir fry this around for about 2 minutes. We're then going to be layering up the vegetables as they need to be cooked. So in my case, it's going to be broccoli. I'm adding like a cup, half a cup, depends on what the amount you want, but roughly equal amounts of all of the vegetables. So 2 minutes later here, let's move on here. I've got some zucchini or courgette. Cut that fairly thin, you can see. Mushrooms would be good in here, or like I say, any vegetables that you want really. And staying on this heat, we're going to flip this around for another 2 minutes. Okay, here's our sweet and sour sauce. We're going to pour that in. Give that a little stir up. And then I've got some bell peppers here. Different colours, you know. A little bit of green onion. And again, 90 seconds, 2 minutes or so. Spin that around in the pan. Really good, loving this one. And then I've got some white onion, chunky cut white onion. Kind of goes in just near the end there. And that's it. Really, really simple. That is absolutely delicious. Like I say, any selection of veg that you want could go in there. And if you do want to use some soy, stick it in. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I hope you enjoy that.
Hello, how you doing? Gonna make mushroom fried rice today. It's very, very simple. It's vegetarian, it's vegan. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. Okay, so rice. I've got 3 cups of basmati rice there cooked. That was cooked yesterday. It's been in the fridge, so I always advise not to use hot rice or warm rice. Cold rice always fries a bit better, I find. Mushrooms, you can see I've kind of got the same in volume. That's actually 250 grams. A tablespoon of soy, I'm using a light soy. Garlic, 1 tablespoon. 1 cup of onion, and 2 or 3 tablespoons there of green onions or spring onions or scallions even. Let's get moving. So you're going to need a large skillet or a wok type thing that I have here. The heat's on high. We're going to be cooking on high heat all the way. I've got 2 tablespoons of oil in there. I'm using a sunflower oil. You could use something different if you want. We've added that 1 cup of onion and the 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Now, if you wanted, you could be adding ginger to this as well. We're going to add a little bit of salt. Don't add too much salt because we're adding soy and that's quite salty. Black pepper, nice big pinch or 2 of that. 3 minutes, keep it moving. Beautiful. Next up, we're going to drop in our mushrooms, 250 grams. And you can see how I've cut my ones. I mean, you can cut them in slices if you want, or cut them really small, entirely up to you. We're going to go ahead and stay on the high heat for another 3 to 4 minutes.
All right, Simon here, just a few little notes. Okay, first of all, there's over 4,000 videos on our channel. We've been cooking for years, so get onto that little magnifying glass. You can search out. There's tons and tons of recipes. We're cooking pretty much every day. Thumbs up always helps me out. A little comment of anything. Tell me what you've had for breakfast even, that's fine. Just a comment helps the algorithm go. If you'd like to donate to me and help the channel out, there's a little thanks button in most countries. You can leave $2 or $1 million if you want. Okay, let's get back to cooking.
Fabulous. Next up, we're going to add that soy. Just like a tablespoon of that. And just for 1 minute, fry that around. Fantastic. Okay, rice time. In goes my rice. Like I say, I like to use a cold rice cooked yesterday, put in the refrigerator. You know, it's kind of dries out a little bit. It's just a bit nicer, I think. Okay, stay on the high heat. We're going to fry this now for 4 to 5 minutes. Wonderful stuff. Off goes the heat. Green onions, spring onions, or scallions, whatever you want to call them. One more mix. Job done. That's beautiful. Okay, absolutely nothing to it. That is really, really easy and super tasty. I hope you enjoy that. Keep safe, keep well.
Hello, how you doing? Look, today we're going to make this really simple tofu with some ginger and soy. Welcome back to How to Cook Great.
Okay, let's first take a look at our tofu. Now, it comes in different grades. When I say grades, like some of it's very kind of sloppy and kind of loose. The one that I'm going to use, because we're going to be frying, is firm. This is actually extra firm, so hard or firm. You know, if you want something that's kind of, you know, not liquidy. That's inside there is going to be our tofu. It's going to be in water. What we're going to do is just take it out of the water and just press it just for, you know, like 5 or 6 minutes, just to kind of get any moisture from it. You can then cut it however you want. And as you can see, there's my tofu now. Cut it into this sort of shape. What we're going to do is get to the cooker and we're going to fry this off in some oil. If you want, you can air fry this if you want to be a little bit more healthy. You can use any type of oil that you want. I'm using a sunflower oil here. And I'm going to shallow fry, but you can deep fry as well. Just heating that up, we're simply going to drop the tofu in. Let me grab a piece. It just goes in. And we're going to flip it over for about 5 minutes or so. It will go a kind of golden-ish brown. Very simple. Okay, we're now going to take them out. You can see they're nice and golden brown. They'll be nice and soft in the middle. We're going to set them aside. You can put them on some paper towel if you want to get rid of any excess oil. And like I say, if you wanted, you could actually air fry these if you don't want to be using that much oil at all. It works out really nicely, quite quick as well, just sort of about sort of 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes, about 180 in my air fryer. But that's it, beautiful stuff, look at that, nice. So what I've done now is I've reduced the oil down dramatically. It's got a little bit of that oil that we fried the tofu in. If you air fried it, just add a little bit of oil. We're going to start off by adding 1 cup of onion in there. And here I've got some ginger, about 1 inch or so, you know, that sort of size. And then cut it into thin strips. Okay, just put the heat on. We're on a high heat. Let that go just by itself for about 4 minutes. Stir often. And then very simply, we're going to add our tofu. I'm going to add some black pepper. I'm not going to be adding salt because we're going to be adding soy sauce to this, which I find salty enough. Now, if you wanted, you could have added garlic to this as well. I'm just going with the onions and the ginger today. We're going to flip this around for about another 3 minutes. Again, high heat, stirring pretty much all of the time. Fabulous stuff. Next up, the soy sauce. About 3 tablespoons. I'm using a light soy. You can turn the heat off now and just go with the heat in the pan. Flip that around. Beautiful. Okay, there you go. Really, really simple. I'll just finish it off with a little bit of green onion on the top.
Hello, how you doing? Look, today we're going to make this really simple eggplant with soy sauce. Really simple, super delicious. So I'm going to start in a pan with a little bit of oil. You can use any oil you want. We're on an above medium heat. Ginger there, about a tablespoon of that, and a tablespoon of garlic. You can see how I've cut both of them. You can slice the garlic and chop the ginger if you want to. And then a cup, or just under a cup of onion sliced. And off we go. We're going to go for about 4 minutes or so here. Very, very easy, this one, and delicious. So once the onions, garlic and ginger start to cook, we're then going to be adding in our eggplant. Eggplant, brinjal, aubergine, whatever you call it. You can see what I've done there, kind of cut it into those kind of chipped kind of slices. Again, cut it how you like. We're going to go with plenty of black pepper. I love that in here. We're not going to add any salt, of course, because we're going to be putting the soy in, and the soy is very, very salty. Okay, so above medium heat, keep going for about 4 to 5 minutes. I'll be tossing this around in the pan. So once they get to this kind of stage here, well, it's where I like them. You can cook them a bit longer if you want. We're going to add some soy sauce. I'm using a light soy, and I'm going to put in about 2-3 tablespoons. Along with that, I'm going to add some green onion tops. Maybe a bit of chili in here could be nice if you wanted. We're going to stir that around for 1 to 2 minutes. Job done. It's delicious. I hope you enjoy that. Keep safe, keep well, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Hello, how you doing? Look, today we're going to make this Chinese or Napa cabbage with oyster sauce and garlic. Really, really delicious. So, I've got about 2 tablespoons of oil there. I'm using sunflower. You can change that, no problem. Quite a lot of garlic here. There's like a heaped tablespoon of chopped garlic. It's a big flavor there. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of onion, cut nice and small. About the same of celery. And very thinly sliced carrots. Cut them nice and thin so they cook nice and quickly. You can see that right there. We're going to let that go for about 2 to 3 minutes on this kind of lively heat, stirring pretty much all the time. Next up, we're going to go with some salt and some black pepper. The amount is entirely up to you, just to taste. And then we're going to be adding our cabbage, our Napa or Chinese cabbage. I've got about 6 cups there, 5 or 6 cups in total, roughly cut. And we're going to stir fry that around for maybe about 3 to 4 minutes. Again, staying on this fairly high, lively heat. Very, very simple this. We're nearly done. It's really delicious. So next up, as you can see, that's kind of reduced down as it's cooked. We're now going to be adding a little bit of water. Well, I've got there like half a cup of water, just not a lot really. 2 tablespoons of oyster sauce. If you want to keep this vegan, you could opt out of that and maybe use a soy, like a light soy sauce or something, but the oyster sauce is delicious in this. A little stir in there. I like the cabbage to remain fairly, you know, the kind of end parts to be fairly crispy. I've got there like a handful of cilantro or coriander, and then a nice drizzle or two of a very nice nutty sesame oil. A little mix. If you want, you could drop in some fresh chili or something. That's entirely up to you. But for me, that's it. Job done.
Hello, how you doing? Really simple eggs today with cabbage. We've got ginger in there. It's delicious. Nice kind of breakfast idea. I mean, I love that for breakfast. Really beautiful. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. So I've got my white cabbage there. There's about 6 cups there. Shredded it quite thin, as you can see. 2 cups of onion, a tablespoon of garlic, and 2 tablespoons of ginger, fresh ginger that I've cut into nice kind of little sticks like that. Let's get moving. A few more bits to add, of course. Okay, so I've got here a kind of wok type thing. You're going to need a kind of fairly large skillet. In there I've got 3 tablespoons of oil. I'm using a sunflower oil. Use a different oil if you want. I've just put the heat on. We're on above medium. And in goes first the ginger and the garlic, followed by the onion. We're going to add some salt and black pepper. Now I'm keeping this really simple. You could be adding a bit of kind of star anise to this if you wanted, or some 5 spice, some fresh chili. Gonna go really, really simple on this one. Okay, about 3 minutes. Keep it moving there. Great stuff. Simply, we're gonna drop in our shredded white cabbage. Now you could get some other vegetables in here. You get some carrots, maybe some mushrooms, some bell peppers, you know, if you want to kind of add a bit more variety to it. We're going to stir fry this now for 4 to 5 minutes. We're well on our way. So simple and delicious. So you can see that the cabbage is cooked down nicely. Simply, we're going to add our eggs. So I've got 4 eggs here beaten, and in they go. Think about a little bit of oyster sauce in there, a little bit of fish sauce, a little bit of soy. It's up to you. I'm going to, like I say, keeping it really simple today. And then cook your eggs however you want. I like my eggs well done, so I'm going to go for about another 3 or 4 minutes. Fantastic. There you go, didn't take long at all, did it? Absolutely beautiful, really simple.
Hello, how you doing? Look, today what we're going to do is rehydrate some dried mushrooms. Lots of different types of mushrooms. We're going to be using the ones on the left here, these fellows here. So the first thing you want to do is get them out of the packet, and you'll find that obviously they're very, very dry. Just give them a little dust off with your hand. Don't put any water on them yet, because these ones are actually really good, but some of them are quite dusty. So you can see they're super dried. I mean, like a biscuit there, you know. Okay, let's get started. We've got a nice big bowl of water, and we're just going to drop them all in. Just cold water, in they go. And I'm going to keep them in there for like 1 hour. And I'm gonna, I'm gonna get in with my hand every now and then and move them around like every sort of 15 minutes or so. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drain them off and throw this water away, and then we're going to do the same. We're going to put clean water in, and this time I'm going to go for about 30 or 40 minutes. You have to kind of eyeball it yourself, because you can, some mushrooms are much bigger and harder. And then once that's done, we're going to drain them off one more time. And then what I'm going to do is stick them into like a colander or a sieve or something, get rid of the water. And then I'm going to take each one and just squeeze it a little bit in my hand, just to remove any sort of other sort of moisture in there. They'll still be fairly moist though. And then they're ready to use. So, I mean, you can chop them up and use them in some Chinese stir fry. You can make some pasta with them. Use them exactly how you want. Really, really versatile and beautiful. Now, once you've got them to this stage, they're probably going to only last in your fridge for like 2 or 3 days. So, I mean, I've done a huge amount here, like a whole packet, because obviously we cook a lot here, but you might want to just do a few at a time. But yeah, that's it. Really simple. That's how you rehydrate mushrooms. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Now, if you like what you've seen here, please do give me a thumbs up. It does help the channel a great deal. And subscribe if you want. See you later.